Dealing with current affairs is one of the biggest challenges in UPSC preparation, but once it is managed carefully, it becomes the easiest part. So, together, let's ace the current affairs. Hello, aspirants. Welcome to UPSC Guardeer. So, as we have promised, we are going to integrate current affairs with the static and going to cover PT365, then PIB summaries and India yearbook. So, first we will cover economy PT365, which is divided into two parts where the 120 pages, that is 120 pages of the biggest bundle book, will be around 20 to 25 pages for revision will be done by us. Okay, so we will focus on the maximum revision of the PDF, which covers all the three parts. Okay, without any delay, let's start and get into this economy PDF. So the first topic is surplus transfer to center by RBI. Surplus transfer. What is surplus transfer? The RBI collects the revenues where there is a surplus in the revenue. So this revenue has to be transferred to the center. Okay, this revenue has to be transferred to the center. Let me micromise this. Okay, yeah, center by RBI. So what percent has to be transferred? That was the question or the flash point between the government and the RBI. So the government formed a Bimal Jalan committee. Okay, committee's name are very important. Okay, Bimal Jalan committee was formed to recommend on the what percentage of surplus transfer has to be done by the government. Okay, the percentage transfer has to be done by the RBI to the government to manage the economic needs. Fine. Next is the Indian Forex Reserve. Indian Forex Reserves, in that we have seen components of foreign exchange reserve. What are the components? Foreign exchange reserve is maintained by RBI. Fine. So what are the components is first is the foreign currency assets. These are maintained in currency like see foreign currency asset. So foreign currency US dollar, which is the most powerful currency. Then we have euro, pound sterling, Australian dollar and Japanese yen. Okay, these are the other countries currencies will also be there, but these are majorly dominated by these currencies. Fine. Secondly, we have is the gold reserves held with the RBI. Okay, which is also a foreign currency exchange reserve asset. Fine. Then we have holdings with the IMF. What is this holdings with the IMF? In IMF we have a separate holdings, right? Like quotas are there for India, for other countries. Okay, different types of quota that will also come under our foreign exchange reserve. Then we have this special drawing rights. Yes, this IMF where they have provided a separate quota for each countries will have special drawing rights, which is a interest bearing. Please mark it important. Okay, in UPSC they have asked whether these are interest bearing or not. Okay, special drawing rights are interest bearing. Okay, so these things can be withdrawn by the country whenever there is a need or whenever there is an emergency. These special drawing rights can be used, which is under the IMF. Okay, just a second. Interest bearing. Fine. Next we have is a reserve tranche position. You can just focus. This is a previous year question directly asked from reserve tranche position. So focusing on this becomes very important. Fine. What is reserve tranche position? Reserve tranche position is also comes under the IMF, which is the difference between members quota. Just now we were speaking about the quota, right? So that quota, like if India they have provided some percent of quota in the IMF, right? Difference between that and the IMF holding of currency. Okay, just here IMF holding of members currency, which is readily available for withdrawal. Focus on this without any strict conditions. Okay, here see, whenever we see in UPSC like extreme statements, see, without any conditions, without any strict conditions is an extreme statement, we tend to see these questions as wrong. But see, not every extreme statement is wrong, not every normal statement is right. It is knowledge based questions. Okay, attending these things is a knowledge based questions, where first attend with the knowledge, then try meta analysis on this. Fine. So it is important to note that without any strict conditions, reserved transposition is available for the country's usage. Fine. Moving to the next topic, we have Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme 2021 in the news. What is this Ombudsman scheme? Ombudsman is nothing but whenever you have any discrepancies in the bank or any problem which is not being handled by the bank properly, then you can raise your voice against the bank by going to ombudsman platform, which is maintained by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, it is a platform where the grievances of the customers of the banks, respective banks, are solved. Fine. So what covers? What all the things are covered? All banks are covered? No, there is a restriction. So what kind of banks are covered? Let us see one by one. Firstly, all commercial banks are covered, rural banks are there, scheduled primary urban cooperative banks are there, and non-scheduled primary urban cooperatives also covered, but 50 crore is the benchmark. 50 crore and above non-scheduled primary urban cooperatives are there. So these things we have to focus. Okay, this data you focus, because data manipulation is an easy trick for the examiner. Okay, they will easily manipulate the data. See this data, the years. Okay, we have to focus those things, because this is a tough exam we are going to face. Factual based manipulation is very high here. Fine. So for non-scheduled primary urban cooperatives, deposit size should be 50 crore. Okay, then all non-banking NBFCs, they are speaking about now, NBFCs excluding housing finance. See, these things you have to remember. Housing finance companies are not handled by the RBI ombudsman. Fine, which are authorized to accept deposits and have customer with asset size. Okay, asset size of 100 crore. Here, deposit size of 50 crore, asset size of 100 crore for NBFCs. Then all system participants. What is system participants? They are system provider which participate in the payment system in accordance with the Payment Settlement System Act 2007. Fine. Then credit information companies are also covered. Credit information companies. Okay, previous year question has been asked directly. Okay, we will see this one by one. After this video, I am going to solve the questions. Very important thing is you have to attend this question very honestly. Honestly answer the questions and comment your scores and keep a track. Okay, we are going to send a track sheet of this program. At the end of the video, I'll show where the track sheet will be. Fine. Credit information companies is the previous year question. Next, RBI has come up with a new initiative. Let us look into that. What the new initiatives has it come with? So RBI has come up with a unified lending interface. What is unified lending interface? Unified lending interface is nothing but it is a digital public infrastructure. Okay, it has aiming to enhance the delivery of credit. Credit means providing the loans for the requirements of infrastructure or economic growth in the country. Fine, it aggregates the data. Okay, it aggregates, like there are many borrowers who want credit, right? It aggregates all their data into one platform, which is unified lending interface. Why it is aggregating? So that it is made available to the lenders for better credit assessment. Okay, they will assess the credit. Okay, this borrower has borrowed this much. Okay, this borrower is not paying it back properly, so that Here they will be like focusing on the proper repayment, who has done like scheduled repayments on correct times without following any NPAs. Okay, so next it has launched is CBDC. CBDC is always previous year questions, like two previous year questions has been asked on CBDC, which I'll be showing you later. Okay, so listen to this carefully. So this they have something called it as a like a retail sandbox. What is this retail sandbox? The sandbox means nothing but it is an testing platform. If you create any new application, the sandbox means you can go there and test how the things work. Okay, that is the meaning of retail sandbox. For that, CBDC retail sandbox has been performed by RBI. Remember, it is RBI's work, not government. Okay, so CBDC is a digital version of fiat currencies. What do you mean by fiat currency? Fiat currency is nothing but which is not backed by any physical commodities, but it is a legal tender. Okay, it is a legal tender. The countries have to accept this as a currency. So whenever you go and pay somewhere with using CBDC, you cannot accept any kind of conflict from the opposite person. Like example, US dollar, pound sterling, Indian rupee, these all are fiat currency. Fine. So next is tokenization of certificate of deposits. Tokenization means what? It is a process of creating a digital representation called tokens. Okay, tokens, like when you make any card payments, you enter the details, right? These details are uniquely created for the purposely for the user. A separate token is created so that there won't be any duplication of payments, or like, so this prevents like hacking, cyber hacking prevention can be done. Okay, separate tokens are created, which is called tokenization. This tokenization has been done for certificate of deposit. Certificate of deposit is nothing but it is a low risk saving instrument. Okay, risk is low, not high risk, it's a low risk saving certificate, which is both long term and short term, both are available, and the interest rate on this is fixed. Remember this. Okay, fixed interest rate is earned. That is called certificate of deposit. See, the certificate deposit is a negotiable money market instrument. Money market is a short term market. Okay, issued in dematerialized form. Demat form, you heard, right? That is a full form of dematerialized form. Okay, has a promissory note. Promissory note between two parties. There is a promise. Okay, there is an obligation of payments between the two parties against the funds deposited at the bank and other eligible financial institutions. These things are used. That is called certificate of deposit, which has been tokenization has been done on this. Okay, okay, who issues them? Who can issue them? Okay, scheduled commercial bank can issue them. No, see, regional rural banks cannot issue, local area banks cannot issue them. All financial institutions selected, okay, selected all India financial institution are permitted by RBI to raise short term. Okay, short term can be lended by AIFIs. Okay, then they are issued by discount on face value, means if the face value is 100 rupees, they are going to issue it at 95 rupees, while if it's giving back, the user gives it for 100 rupees back. So the 5 rupees whatever is earned is the profit, or the interest earned is taken as the value. So its maturity period is up to 1 year. Certificate of deposits maturity is up to 1 year. Okay, next comes the topic of self regulatory organizations, SROs. These SROs are been in the news like past 2 to 3 years. So UPSC may any time throw the question on this. Okay, so let's know what are these things. RBI granted SRO status to Finance Industry Development Council FIDC to oversee NBFCs. In the options they may ask like which among the following council was was changed to like SRO organization recently to oversee NBFCs. It is nothing but the FIDC, that is Finance Industry Development Council. It is a representative body of non-banking financial companies which are registered with the RBI. Okay, the FIDC is registered with the RBI. So these two things are important. What it sees is NBFCs, it is registered with RBI, and it is a self-regulatory organization. Three key points. Note these things. So what are SROs? Self-regulatory organization matlab kya? Means it's a legal backing. Legal backing means RBI omnibus framework. Omnibus framework recently seen in news means it's a self-regulatory organization related news. Okay, so it's the omnibus framework for recognizing self-regulatory organizations for regulated entities 2024. Fine. The eligibility of SRO. So what makes the SRO? How it is built? What is the eligibility? It means it is a non-profit company like NGO. It's like completely a NGO which is registered under Section 8 of Companies Act. So SROs are statutory bodies. Yes, the statement will be correct because they are under the Companies Act. Whichever comes under the act are statutory bodies. It should have an adequate net worth, sufficiently diversified shareholding, and it must represent the sector. Governance framework. At least one third of the members the board of directors including chairperson shall be independent. Remember this statement. Okay, please remember this statement because UPSC has last time asked on the board of directors questions 2 to 3 times. Previous year questions like how it is like one third, 50%, 40%. It is focusing on the factual things when it comes to board of directors. So at least one third of its members should be independent. Of the board of directors should be independent. Okay. Next initiative that has been started by RBI is one state, one RRB. The government is coming to start with the initiative like one state, one RRB. So let us understand some basic points of RRBs. Regional Rural Banks. So which committee has recommended for RRBs? It is Narasimhan Committee. Okay, so like second thing we have to focus is there is a different like some unique kind of ownership held by them. Okay, so central government ownership is 50%, state has 15%, and sponsor bank has 35% of ownership here. Okay, so very important things. These kind of holdings is not available in any of the banks, which means it's very unique thing we have to remember. And the regulation, let us focus on the regulation. RRBs are regulated by RBI, but they are supervised by NABARD. Okay, so UPSC asked RRBs are supervised immediately by RBI. The statement is wrong. NABARD is the immediate supervisor of RBI, but mainly overall holistically regulated under RBI. Okay, so what are the changes we have seen or something developments we will see? Phases of amalgamation was based on recommendation of Dr. Vyas Committee. RRB's formation under Narasimhan Committee, their amalgamation, okay, is focused on these words. This is the where the UPSC plays the game. UPSC plays the game with the words. Okay, amalgamation is Vyas Committee, formation is under Narasimhan Committee. RRBs were established in 1975 based on the recommendation of Narasimhan Working Group. We know this. They are regulated by Reserve Bank of India under which act? Banking Regulation Act. Okay, Banking Regulation Act, supervised by NABARD. Okay, points are given here. And mainly now like presently if you conduct the recently conducted survey shows that 92% of the branches of RBI, okay, 92% of the branches of RRB are in rural and semi-urban areas. Okay, 92%. UPSC may ask like more than 90% of RRBs are in rural areas, urban areas. Yes, the statement is correct. What is the PSL target? 75% target. Okay, highest percentage target for RRBs. They have to mainly focus on priority sector lending. Then CRAR is 9%. I think like PSL is important, and these recommendations of which committee is important in these things. If you know these things, then yes, RRB is an easy topic for you. Then comes the topic of SARFAESI Act, which is in news these days because there are so much of NPAs grown in the banks. Okay, so to manage this asset reconstruction, companies are growing up. So the things are in the news. Okay, what is SARFAESI Act? Creation of asset reconstruction companies. Asset reconstruction companies are created under which act? SARFAESI Act. They are regulated by again RBI. RBI regulates the asset reconstruction company. It's a company incorporated under Companies Act. Okay, registered with the RBI under SARFAESI Act. Borrowers can approach debt recovery tribunal. Focus on these things. Debt recovery tribunal was formed under the first Narsimhan committee recommendation. SARFAESI Act was formed under second Narsimhan recommendation committee. Okay, so their grievances are against the creditor and authorized officer. DRTs are established under Recovery of Debts Bankruptcy Act. Okay, focus on these things. Debt Recovery Tribunal, not under SARFAESI Act, it is under the Recovery of Debts Bankruptcy Act 1993. This act, this DRT is very important. SARFAESI Act creates asset reconstruction company which are regulated by RBI. Enough. 2 points, crisp, clear. Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act is in news. Let's see why it is in news. It mandates the following statements to be laid before the Parliament along with the budget. That is 1. Macroeconomic framework statement, medium term fiscal policy statement, fiscal policy strategy statement. Recently budget was held, right? So with this budget, these three documents has to be kept along with you, okay, in front of the Parliament. So why this is kept? It is mandated by FRBM Act. Okay, FRBM Act mandates to keep these three documents. What are the key targets then? What is the target given by FRBM? Fiscal deficit should be kept under the 3% of GDP. Okay, the maximum fiscal deficit has to be under 3% of our GDP. Okay, first point. Debt limits by general government. General government means both state and central government. Okay, mixed together is 60%, less than or equal to maximum 60%, in which central government 40% and state government will have 20% limit. Okay, both together 60% is the debt limit given by the FRBM Act. The revised fiscal consolidation path of 4.5% of GDP fiscal deficit has been given under the adjustments. Okay, what is next update thing is like additional guarantees. What is additional guarantees? It's like if any emergencies occur during the management of the economy, the states can go under the additional guarantees where maximum of 0.5% of the GDP in any year. That is maximum of 0.5% of GDP in any year. Focus on these points, factual data, which is very important in the FRBM Act. These things are very important because it has been asked once in previous year question. Next we have is the Income Tax Act of 2025. Okay, Income Tax Act of 2025, which is being replaced on 1961. Okay, so what are the changes? What are the changes introduced? First thing is provisions of minimum alternate tax and alternate minimum tax have been changed. What is this minimum alternate tax and alternate minimum tax? See, the companies which have been producing, manufacturing or goods or something are earning very nice substantial book profits. Okay, they are earning very nice book profits and also are getting handsome dividends, but these companies are not paying any taxes. Like they are claiming the tax concessions, incentives provided by the government, and they are showing it them as a, note this word, net zero tax companies. Okay, they are showing themselves as a net zero tax companies, even though they are earning these substantial book profit. So government has come up with a smart way. They have introduced minimum alternate tax on the companies. Whatever the profits they have generated, whatever the tax concession they have taken, they have to pay the minimum tax. Okay, minimum tax of government quoted percentage. For this is for, see, MAT provisions are applicable to corporate taxpayer, okay, or companies, and AMT, alternate minimum tax, is applicable for non-corporate taxpayer, like Hindu undivided family will be there. Fine, those kind of things will come under non-corporate taxpayers. Next, there was a definition of undisclosed income defined. So there is no big change. Only change is they have included this virtual digital asset into the undisclosed income. Okay, that is the biggest change. Thirdly, transfer pricing. When it is a multinational enterprise where the related entities are making some transaction between them, the government charges the price. That is called transfer pricing. Terms are very important. UPSC has previously asked a term like, what do you understand by indirect transfers? If you can see, there is a UPSC PYQ on this. Okay, indirect transfers, four options were given. Like that they will ask. Okay, transfer pricing is transaction charge, price charged on the transaction related entities of the multinational enterprise. Next, GST 2.2. What are the key reforms and recommendations? Let's see. There were two slab system. One is 5% and 18%. We know this. So everyone was very happy. From 12% it has come to 5%, 28% to 18%. Cars are now cheaper. Things are getting cheaper. Fine. A 40% special demerit rate applies to sin goods. Okay, sin goods. Sin goods, you know, like which provide negative externalities to the environment. Next, selected luxury goods which replacing the compensation cess levy. Okay, remember this data. A 40% of special demerit rate applies on these goods, selected luxury goods and sin goods. The median tax rate effectively moves from 12 to 5%, which we have seen in the first point itself. So, is this enough? No, we have to know the formation of GST Council. And one thing, please note down, there is central GST, state GST, and intrastate GST. Okay, these two GSTs are based on the recommendation of Finance Commission, and IGST is based on the recommendation of GST Council, which is very important. Most of them do not have knowledge of this. Okay, interstate GSTs are on basis of GST Council. CGST, SGST recommendations are by Finance Commission. Okay, GST Council's article number, article 279A. Okay, it recommends modest GST laws. These are things they will not ask. Okay, this is at least once in every quarter there has to be a meeting. The chair, who is the chairman? Finance minister is the chairman. Okay, voting. How is the voting going there? 1/3 for central government, 2/3 of the votes for state governments. Okay, and if any decision has to be implemented, like after voting, if decisions or proposal has to be implemented, then overall 3/4 of the votes, majority votes should be there. Fine. And what is the quorum? Quorum means minimum members has to be present, that is 50% is the quorum. Fine. So this is about the GST Council. If you know this much, maximum, that's enough. Some key terms. Okay, terms like transfer pricing, indirect transfers. Here, anti-dumping duty. What is anti-dumping duty? Anti-dumping duty is the protectionist tariff. Okay, to protect from the foreign imports. They are dumping the foreign imports at the cheaper price compared to the domestic price. Then domestic market gets hit. So to prevent this type of tariff, we are going to put anti-dumping duty. Fine, clearly understood? Okay. Then the next thing is safeguard duty. What is safeguard duty? It is a form of a safeguard measure available to WTO member countries. They are imposed to provide a level playing field for domestic players against sudden or significant increase in imports of the product. Okay, this is like when they are imported products are becoming very costly or not providing a level playing field, then it is imposed. But anti-dumping duty is they are dumping cheaply, like China would do this with us mainly. Okay, they are dumping the low produce or low priced goods directly into the domestic market. So that is anti-dumping duty which would impose on them. Thirdly, there is a term called off budget borrowing. Off budget borrowing, the name itself is which is not in the budget. So remember one thing, the major what you can say is national saving certificates. Okay, you have heard it. National saving certificates is the one of the biggest form to take off budget borrowing. Okay, so off budget borrowing is government is borrowing. Here also government is borrowing, but not explicitly, but in the indirect way of off budget things which are publicly approved. Thus off budget borrowing is a part of fiscal deficit. It is asked in UPSC once. Okay, off budget borrowing is not part of fiscal deficit. Fine. So by SEBI first set up in 1988, but it became statutory body only after SEBI Act 1992. So we are speaking about the Swagat FI framework. Okay, sorry, I did not say this. Okay, so Swagat FI framework recently seen in news. Which body? It is by SEBI. Okay, it was set up in 1988. SEBI was statutory body only after this act, 1992 act. What is this Swagat FI? It is a window automatic generalized access for trusted foreign investors. Framework for FPI and foreign venture capital investors. Venture capital investors are investors who focus on the startup companies. Fine. Just know this term, Swagat FI framework related to foreign investors, SEBI. That's it. Foreign currency settlement system, FCSS. Foreign currency settlement system is a payment system. Okay, payment system authorized by IFCA. It is an International Financial Service Centers Authority. It's an international body regulating the currency settlement system. Okay, under which act? Payment and Settlement System Act 2017. What is the objective then? It enables foreign currency transaction between IFC banking units, that is IBUs, to be settled locally. Okay, to be settled locally instead of routing through traditional corresponding bank route. See, foreign bank to Indian bank to these things. Instead of this circus, it's directly embedding all the banks into the one unit, that is IFSC banking units, so that the foreign currency transactions are carried at the ease. Next comes the Payments Regulatory Board. Payments Regulatory Board, under which act? Payments and Settlement Act by RBI. The governor of RBI as a ex officio chairperson. Important point, note this down. Payments and Regulatory Board headed by governor of RBI. The UPSC may change it to deputy governor, don't confuse. Deputy governor of RBI is in charge, is an ex officio member. Deputy governor, ex officio, governor is the chairpersons. One of the RBI officer, okay, will be nominated by the central board. These all things like not important. Mainly this thing they may ask. Okay, if they ask, okay, 3 central government nominated persons which are expert. And what is the tenure? Yes, the tenure is important. 4 years. Okay, for the tenure is 4 years. And lastly, this is very important, that is they are not eligible for renomination. Reappointment is not possible for Payments Regulatory Board directors. meet at least twice a year, and quorum is 3 members. Bombay Stock Exchange is in news. Why? It marks the 150 years. Okay, see, 150 years of Bombay Stock Exchange. Then it is important. Previous year question has been asked on Bombay Stock Exchange. I will show it. It established as the Native Share and Stock Brokers Association in 1875. It is Asia's first, world's fastest stock exchange. Okay, see, biggest title it has earned: Asia's first and world's fastest stock exchange. In 2017, BSE became first listed stock exchange of India. First listed stock exchange of India. It provides efficient transfer, marketing, trading in equity, currencies. Okay, these all things. Just note the rules. Fine. Who regulates this BSE? Of course, Security Exchange Board of India. That is SEBI. Okay, SEBI regulates the Bombay Stock Exchange. Now we have the special rupee ostro accounts. Direct PYQ is there on this. Direct previous year question. So beautifully they have asked. Focus on this because you have to solve the questions later, right? Focus on this and see. Special rupee ostro accounts are specialized bank accounts held by foreign banks. Who is the holder of these banks? Foreign banks. Okay, in accordance with authorized Indian banks in Indian rupees. Foreign banks is holding Indian banks in Indian rupees to settle the bilateral trade in rupees. Okay, reducing the dependence on foreign currencies. See, if I take any trade is carried on, I have to pay the dollar, yen, and etc. So instead of that, because it is settling by Indian rupees, it is very easy. So these special rupee ostro accounts are very useful. We can reduce the dependency of foreign currencies, and internalization of rupees is very easy. So it is introduced by whom? Government, SEBI, etc. No, it is introduced by Reserve Bank of India. They allow Indian importers to pay in INR. Fine. Allow investment in surplus balances government security. If there is any surplus, you can invest in government securities also and promote internalization of rupee. That is the special rupee ostro account. Do please remember this point. Next, Spectra project. Spectra project recently seen in news. These type of questions will be asked. Okay, software platform for external commercial borrowings and trade certificates reporting and approval to streamline external commercial borrowing and trade credits process. Okay, don't make it complex. Just remember, Spectra project is related to external commercial borrowings. That's it. Just remember, like, one big beautiful bill has been started by USA. The remittance provision has been changed a lot. Okay, just remember which country has launched one big beautiful bill. It is US. Okay, liberalized remittance scheme. What is liberalized remittance scheme? Let's see. 2004 by RBI. It was launched. So it focuses to benefit all residential individuals, including minors also. Okay, minors are not exempted. Remember these kind of points. Freely we are going to remit US dollars of 2,50,000 free without any tax on that every financial year for any permissible current or capital account. Both accounts are included, current account, capital account, both. Okay, so point is 2,50,000 per financial year freely, current and capital account. Minors are also included. There are no restrictions on the frequency of remittances. How many times you can do this? There is no limit on the frequency, but the scheme is not available to corporate, partnership firm, and Hindu undivided family. These kind of things cannot avail the benefits of this scheme. Next is the double contribution convention between India and UK. So updated news we have that mother of all trades will be coming soon in the international relation class, which is going to be held by the another lecturer. Okay, double contribution convention kind between each of the countries, India and UK. What is double contributions? It is a type of social security agreement. Just remember this one. It is a social security agreement. Like social security contributions will be there for up to period of 3 years. EFTA, EFTA, India EFTA, European Free Trade Association Economic Partnership Agreement, Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, TEPA. TEPA agreement is signed between which of the following countries? India and EFTA. It comes into picture from October 2025. Which are these EFTA nations? Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland. Remember these four countries. Okay, if some of the following not belong to means they will change one of the countries' name. Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland are there. Okay, in EFTA nations. After offered zero or reduced tariff on 95% of Indian exports. So it is very important. Then see, like previous year question, if you see, they have asked one beautiful question like Saral, Sugam are terms related to what in the news? It was related to that I Indian Post Payment Banks, IPPS. Okay, India's post payment banks has the special type of account, Saral, Sugam, this kind of thing. So terms are very important. Okay, for UPSC. So we have the terms called Niryat Protsahan, that is financial support. Niryat Disha, that is non-financial support. For what? For what? Niryat Protsahan, Niryat Disha are the support scheme of export promotion scheme. Export promoting scheme के लिए Niryat Protsahan and Niryat Disha are put into place. So what is the export contribution of India in the global market? If you see, 45% of India's total exports contributed by MSMEs, 21% overall GDP are by exports. Share in global export is around 2.5%. See, rough data is very important because UPSC will ask around 3% of this, around 5% of this. If you know this data, it's wrong, then the whole statement can be eliminated very easily. The second statement or third statement will be, if you like find it correct or wrong, then you can get the right option check. Okay, remember this thing, merchandise export, that is export of goods is more than service export. We export goods more than the service here in kind of export promotion scheme. So some reports are there in the news, just know them. UNDP and Oxford institution, some big name is there. Just remember, UNDP and Oxford institution will release Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. World Economic Outlook, IMF. World Inequality Lab, World Inequality Report will release it. For measure inequality, we have Kuznets ratio, Palma ratio, Gini index. Remember this. Okay, Kuznets ratio, Palma ratio, Gini index measures what? Four options. It's inequality measurement. Reserve Bank of India Financial Inclusion Index. Okay, released by RBI. Its indicators are AUQ, access, usage, quality. Amrut scheme. Okay, Amrut scheme comes under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. It's a centrally sponsored scheme. Remember this. This change will be always asked. It is a centrally sponsored scheme covering 500 cities and towns and sectors of water supply, 100% sewage and septic management. Okay, this is the main focus of the scheme. Then recently, like last year, they have launched Pradhan Mantri Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana, new scheme. It consolidates many schemes, around 36 schemes are consolidated into one thing. 11 ministers are brought into one scheme and started this new scheme. Okay, it comes into picture for 6 years. They don't remember this one. Remember the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Next, how many districts they are covering? 100 underperforming, not best performing, underperforming districts. 40% for subsidies, the funds. Okay, whatever the fund, like it may be 100 crore, 200 crore, whatever the funds they are going for that, 40% for subsidies, 30% for infrastructure, 20% for loans, and 10% for training. Don't remember everything, just remember the maximum funds are carried towards subsidies, the statement will be correct. They are forming district dhan dhanya samitis. District dhan dhanya samitis are led by district collectors. This authority, the UPSC may ask some different kind of authority. Okay, district dhan dhanya samiti is led by district collector. Okay, so this much are the important things in the first part, like it's around 7 or 6 pages. So no, see, we see the bulk, the things are they very bulky, like 120 pages of PT365 is there. But things will not focus only on these things. There is PIB, down to earth is there, and we have a what can I do, the India yearbook is there. So UPSC focuses in everything. So we'll pick all the important things, reduce it to like 20 to 25 pages PDF, revise it multiple times, because okay, static concept C for namesake disease current affairs, these all things static concept are being covered here. Fine, I have attached some images below, like some types of things like transition bonds, additional tier 1 bonds, what is bond market. So just have a basic look on this. Okay, to understand the things correctly, just have a basic look on these things. How this, like, see, this deficit was in like last year completely. The question was 2 questions were based on this: fiscal deficit, primary deficit, revenue deficit. These are things are very easy. If you don't understand, do comment in the in comment section. Do comment that you need the explanation of these things, of any concept of current affairs or static. If you don't understand anything, just use the comment box. Comment the topic name. Okay, which topic you are facing in any subject. We will bring out the videos or shorts. Okay, shorts also we can bring, explaining in the, like, whichever language you are comfortable: Hindi, English, Kannada. Okay, any language, Telugu, Tamil, any language which you have doubt, you can connect with us. Fine, so let's sign off here. Like next video, okay, in the next video let me show you, I am having the previous year questions on first part of PT365. Okay, we'll solve them tomorrow. The video will be uploaded. Okay, we'll solve them, like it will take some 10 to 15 minutes. Here, show your talent. First revise this video very nicely, come solve these questions, then go to the channel, WhatsApp channel, which I have attached in the comment section and also in the description of this video. Then solve the practice questions. Enough, that's the maximum. If you do this, the current affairs will be in the fingertips of you. Okay, till then, take care, bye bye, see you tomorrow.